Good evening, everyone. I am your host, Primrose Jasmin, for the day, and I would like to welcome you all for this talk show of PSAI Season 5, Episode 1. Now, I can see a lot of people tuning in from various parts of the world. So, good evening to everyone, good afternoon to people. Now, I can also see a lot of people who are joining in who are not part of PSAI. I can see Mohammed Shab from Maldives. Thank you for joining in. And just for the benefit of people who are not from PSAI, let me quickly give a prelude. The Professional Speakers Association of India has been formed to help build a strong community to help you enhance your professional speaking career globally. PSAI is proud to be a part of the Global Speakers Federation, an organization of 17 national speaking associations across the globe. In India, PSAI is in most of the cities like Chennai, Bangalore, Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad, Vadodara, and we have recently launched a virtual chapter as well. I myself joined in PSAI very recently. I would say maybe not so recently, 7 months into PSAI, and it has been an amazing journey. So I'm Primrose Jasmin again, your host for the evening for this talk show. Now, today's agenda is about the talk show. So let me talk to you in simple terms about what is this segment which we are dealing with. Now, PSA Talk Show is a live interactive event, as you can see, designed to raise awareness about a high impacting speaking topic while giving you deeper insights into PSAI's vision, values, and the benefits of being part of our speaking fraternity. You can ask questions live, learn from experts, and connect with passionate professionals across the country. So, welcome once again to this season 5 of PSAI Talk Show, episode 1. I can see a lot of people who are logging in. Now, today's topic is very close to my heart. It is about decoding the speaking niche, and the guest and the speaker for today is also special because I don't think anybody can talk on this topic so aptly than the speaker whom we are going to invite. Now, Vinay Pushpakaran is a global keynote speaker, an educator, TEDx speaker, and the immediate past president of the Professional Speakers Association of India. He is a professor of customer centricity at a leading B school in India. With more than 21 years of experience in marketing, brand strategy, sales, and consumer behavior, Vinay is a sought after speaker on customer experience and service excellence. He has collaborated with brands like Toshiba, Royal Enfield, Bharat Petroleum, DBS Bank, Saint Gobain, so on and so forth. Vinay is also a senior mentor for aspiring professional speakers and runs a very popular professional speaking mastermind which helps speakers find clarity on their speaking niche. He has multiple feathers to his hat, I can say. He's also the founder and CEO of Miyagi Learning Solutions, a corporate learning enterprise that has been empowering students and professionals for more than 14 years. Outside work, Vinay is a published short story writer and a movie buff. I would like to extend a warm welcome to the speaker of the day, Vinay Pushpakaran. Welcome to the talk show, Vinay. Vinay, you're on mute. Yeah.
Hi, Jasmine. Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here on the first episode of season 5 of the PSAI Talk Show. Thank you very much for having me here.
You're welcome, Vinay. And it is our pleasure indeed to have you as the speaker, and it is my pleasure to host this show as well. So, Vinay, I know after joining PSI, this is my experience. So, I would like to extend a question from there. Before joining PSAI and after joining PSAI, I have seen a lot of differences in my life. So, if I had to ask you this question, Vinay, before PSAI and after PSAI, how would you describe that? for yourself?
Before PSAI, uh, before PSAI, I didn't know this parallel universe existed. Okay, let me explain that. Now, before PSAI happened in my life, which was early 2019, I was a speaking coach. I was a marketing consultant and an entrepreneur. So that's what kept me moving forward. But I mean, I enjoyed speaking. I spoke. I mentored aspiring speakers. I did that. I taught, but never looked at speaking at the from the point of view of a business, from the point of view of a sustainable, profitable career. No, never. I didn't know that there was this global community, global fraternity.
Okay. So, did we lose Vinay? All right, wonderful. So I think, we had a small technical glitch there in terms of the internet part. So now that Vinay is going to talk about the topic, let me give a very, very brief introduction about the topic, because that's very closer to my heart, as I told you in the beginning. Yeah, before I could say that he has come. So let him reveal the secret. Yes, Vinay. Yes.
Sorry. I think I
No
got
problem.
disconnected.
No
Yeah.
problem.
So I didn't know that this global fraternity of speakers existed. This global community existed. There was this thing which is making impact in the lives of thousands of people, and making it and considering speaking as a business, considering speaking as a career. So that's something which was absolutely new for me. So when I attended the first professional speaker summit in 2019, in which happened in Chennai, and I entered there thinking that, okay, so this is somebody. I mean, a friend of mine told me there's something happening with regarding public speaking, so you might want to go and join. So I came there thinking, okay, I'll grab some nuggets on speaking, and maybe I'll be able to share that with my students, and so on and so forth. But then what what unveiled unveiled is the right word, because what happened after that was absolutely mind blowing. Because I still remember that moment, that day, when Frederick Harron took the stage, and he introduced professional speaking, to put it in the most apt sense out there. He introduced professional speaking to me, and I'm sure a lot of other people also who were there. And that was the moment. That was a moment that I said, "Oh my God! Now this is a community that I resonate so much with. This is something that uh, that feels so much like what I would love to be a part of, but I'm not a part of it." So that's something which I addressed and remedied in a few hours when I joined the PSAI right after PSAI put right with. So that's what this.
Okay. Got it, Vinay. Got it. All right. So, Vinay, well, you shared the experience before PSA and after PSA. I was completely able to resonate with what you were saying. Now, this topic, decoding the speaking niche, okay? So, what do you exactly mean by speaking niche? Okay, I think now is the time the audience have an advantage. Yeah, whoever has tuned in, please put in your questions also. I can address it now and then. I can give it to Vinay when he joins. So already I can see that he has joined us. So let me rephrase the question which I said, Vinay. According to you, what do you mean by speaking niche?
So you're as a professional speaker, you are not going there and just giving a speech and coming back. You're not just going there to take the stage, doing a talk and coming back. Now that you can do anywhere. When you take public speaking as a hobby, as a passion, you can do that. That's Professional speaking is much more beyond that, way more evolved and way beyond that. So when we are looking at ourselves as a professional speaker, you got to build a brand of yourself as a thought leader in X. So let's take it as X right now. that you're an expert on, say, collaboration, but then only the people around you know that, or you enjoy doing it, but your market doesn't know that. You don't have a reputation. You're not known for that. Then that is where professional speaking has, that's that point where the foundation of professional speaking needs to be laid. So a speaking niche is that one specific value that you add as a speaker for a specific audience, that is unique, that is differentiated, and that is transformational. These are the three things that make a powerful speaking niche. To put it in simpler terms, if you're a professional speaker, your ecosystem, your market knows you for that X, that this is what this person is. Your market is able to talk about you and refer you in one single sentence. That is a speaking niche.
Absolutely, absolutely, and beautifully explained. You gave it the name X, and then you immediately explained also like what do you mean by that. Easily, a person can be referred, is what I understand, and I can see. I have witnessed a lot of myths or misconceptions about choosing a speaking niche. So, what are some of the common myths around it, Vinay?
Two to three myths. The most common myth that I hear every time is, niche will limit me. It will limit my reach. It will limit my impact. Oh my God, I will lose out on opportunities. I will lose out on assignments if I just limit myself to one thing. So let me just add some more. Let me just, take this topic as well so that I can widen my reach. Let me broaden my reach. Let me just, spread myself. But when we spread ourselves in the world of speaking, that's spreading yourself too thin. So that's the niche number. That's the first myth that I hear very often, that a niche is limiting. A niche limits us. The second thing that I see very often is that, okay, so I have chosen a niche now. I've chosen to follow that. I'm working on that. But say after a few weeks, after some time, oh my God, now I'm not enjoying it. But then I'm stuck with it. So let me not go with a niche. What if I have to change it? Big, huge misconception, a big myth. If you have invested reasonable time to a niche and you've been consistent on the niche, and that is not delivering results for you, nobody stops you from pivoting. That's a second myth that I hear very often. And another myth that I hear is that, okay, so if I have a speaking niche, that means I will start immediately attracting speaking gigs and speaking opportunities. No, doesn't work like that. The professional speaking, the journey of a professional speaker is not something that you snap your fingers, flick a switch, and you suddenly become a professional speaker. It's a journey, and the niche is the first starting stone of that journey forward. So having a niche does not guarantee you speaking gigs. Having a niche and building on that and leveraging your niche, that is what gets you speaking opportunities, puts you up on stages across the country, across the world. So these are three myths that I hear very, very often, and all these are just plain myths coming out of us.
All right. I can also see Saurabh commenting on it saying niche gives you the clarity, right? And I can also relate to what you said, Vinay, in terms of the thought that if you choose a niche, it will limit your scope. Even I belong to that myth, I would say, before PSAI. Yeah, I was thinking, strange. Why should we choose a niche? I'm good in this, good in that. Can I not, like, go ahead and do a little bit of this and that? That will make life interesting. All those were my limiting thoughts. Yeah, but
You
then
know,
you beautifully quoted it. Yeah, go ahead.
we as speakers, as facilitators, as trainers, we like to be the jack of all trades. Let's face it. We get because we have developed that ability to handle multiple subjects. And frankly speaking, there are a lot of things that we can just get up from bed and start speaking. That's there. But in the world of professional speaking, uh, having multiple speaking niches and spreading ourselves thin, I always say that like jack of all trades, do not be the mic of all stages. You don't have to be the mic for all stages. You are not. You're meant to be the best mic for a specific stage, for a specific audience. That's what a niche enables you to do, and that's what gets you paid. That's what gets you that's what builds your brand as a speaker, and that's what helps you build your business in the long term as a speaker.
Wonderful. I really liked how you said, don't be the mic for all stages. That was an excellent metaphor which you used, when it conveys the point bang on. Now, that brings me to ask this next curious question. How did you personally discover your niche in the speaking world?
Arduous journey. 2.5 years. Not easy at all. I'll be in fact, that's what inspired me, or that's what prompted me to work on that, because I took more than 2.5 years. I joined the PSAI, I said, in 2019, but then uh, I discovered my niche at the end of 2021. That's so it's like literally 2.5 years it took me. Now I'll tell you how it went. So now I was a public speaking coach. So I thought, okay, I've been teaching public speaking for almost 8 9 at that point of time, close to 8 9 years, and that's my niche. So let's start with public speaking. And I started putting myself that, public speaking strategist or something like that I had at that time. And then somebody asked me, what do you speak on? I said, I speak on public speaking. Okay. Bit of a, you know, um, I felt there was something that's just not clicking there. But then later, my mentor told me that who exactly is going to give you, as a professional speaker, who's going to hire you to speak on public speaking? Not really. So, yes, I'm passionate about it. My experience, my expertise, yes. But is there a market for that? Will somebody pay me for that? Not really. So then I pivoted from public speaking to sales, because I come from the marketing background. I've spent a long, long time in sales. I still do. I still teach sales. So I thought, okay, sales is my zone, and I started speaking on sales. So immediately my title changed from public speaking strategist to a sales strategist. I think I still have some of those visiting cards of those times at that time. So yes, I thought that's now my niche. So this was my second pivot, and but then from there I jumped from sales into marketing, because I thought, okay, marketing sounds cooler, and I think that's like that. I hopped, but. Uh, None of these gave me that you know I don't know how to put it in there's a very simple thing, in cricket. Let me take a cricket analogy. Today India just won the test match, so let me just bring a cricketing analogy. There are sometimes when a batsman comes onto the crease, and there are those certain positions, there are those certain things that they do. They just get into that state of flow. When you're in that state of flow, your performance goes sky high. So when you identify your niche that truly resonates with you, that makes you feel authentic, and that deeply connects with your experience, your expertise, your passion, then you go into that flow state. When you start preparing content, you start writing about it. When you start speaking about it, when you start talking about it, the stories keep coming. When you start writing, the words keep flowing. That's that flow state, and that's what I experienced when I zeroed in my niche as the world of customer delight, the world of being customer centric. So that's how I discovered my niche. So again, um, as a professional speaker, when you identify your niche, that really sets the platform, sets the stage for you to take it several notches higher.
Wonderful. I can also see a lot of audience commenting that they agree with you, and you were bang on to the point. Now, you mentioned about a lot of transitions. All right. You also mentioned I hopped on from public speaking, then to sales, and then now to customer service or excellence. And maybe you might hop on to something else also. We never know. Time will say that. Yeah. So, how did you manage this transition? Like, because when a person chooses a niche, when they move on to the next part, there is a transition which happens. So, how did you manage that transition?
No, the previous transitions were my search. I was exploring. I was exploring what exactly I was trying out. Things wasn't working. In fact, very few people might even know that for some time I had even, experimented with networking as a niche for a very short period of time because I wasn't sure. I just wasn't sure. There were so many things on the table. I didn't know what to pick up and run with. That's where I was stuck, and that's what took 2.5 years until there are two people who played a huge role in helping me identify, and those two people I met thanks to the Professional Speakers Association and thanks to this community of professional speakers. The first one, Praveen Shekhar, the second one, Mariana Pascal. These two people had a huge role in helping me, guiding me towards identifying what exactly is that point where my entire experience and the entire passion, everything converged there. And that's that point where I realized I'm now, this is the spot, this is the place where I really want to build my speaking career from. So that's how that, so the transition previously was built because results were not happening, even though I was writing about it, even though, but that, I didn't achieve that flow state. When I got that, that was when I got that right resonance between my entire experience, what I'm passionate about, and also what the market requires. Everything put together was the niche that I identified in 21, and now it's been 4 years. And day after day, week after week, month after month, when I talk about it, when I share stories about it, when I write about it, it's something that is now part of me.
Wonderful. And Vinay, I liked how you said that a person can definitely explore. Okay, that's what you began with. You explored. And then when you reach the flow state is when you understood that this is my space to own. And then you are owning it. And you beautifully shared your story with us and mentioned names of people who supported you as well. Now, for the aspiring speakers, especially when they find out their niche, how do they position themselves as an authority in that space?
Okay. So, identifying your niche is only step one. There are two very important steps after that. The first step, you've identified your niche. Okay, I found out that leadership is my niche. Okay, I found out that customer experience is my niche. That's step one. That's the first foundation. But after that, there are two very important steps. The step number two, you got to refine your niche. Now, how do you refine your niche? Now, there are multiple things. Number one, from your niche, you got to differentiate it. Sometimes now, leadership is a niche. Okay, uh, leadership mindset is a different niche. So all of these are niches, absolutely no doubt about that. But you got to refine your niche with these three things. You got to differentiate it, you got to package it, you got to communicate it, and you got to be consistent with it. Differentiate it, package it well, communicate it, and then being consistent with it. These are the four things that help take your niche to your audience. If your niche stays with you, doesn't help at all. Now, after this comes the next stage, that you leverage your niche to go to the next level, to up your game. Now, that's where you convert your niche into multiple assets and multiple products. From your niche comes, you craft your keynote. After that, you might, if depending on your niche, you might have a coaching program, you might have a consulting engagement, you might have a training workshop, you might have so many different possibilities that can come out of that. All those possibilities, when they crystallize into form and shape, that is when your product pyramid is ready. And that is how you are leveraging your niche into a successful, profitable business. So your keynote might be your step one, but there's a lot more that goes beyond that. When everything comes together, that is the next step. That is where your niche takes you. So identifying your niche, refining your niche, and then leveraging your niche. All these three things have to happen together. So that's taking to the next level. And then once you reach that point, you can also, you also repurpose your niche. Now, say, when I started out, I am speaking to an audience of only marketing leaders, CMOs, or maybe the C-suite, who are or marketing leaders. But once you have established, you can even take it further, that okay, my topic, I can also repurpose it for HR professionals, HR leaders. I can repurpose it for entrepreneurs. I can repurpose it for maybe an audience of facilitators, maybe for solo entrepreneurs. The, it is limitless. The possibilities are limitless once you have mastered your niche. Once your market starts identifying you with a niche, nothing stops you from diversifying, nothing stops you from repurposing your niche into multiple zones. Absolutely not. There is a market for every possible kind of niche that is there, but you got to identify the right niche, pitch it to the right audience. When that comes together, magic happens.
Wonderful. And I can see the wordplay where you said product pyramid, yeah? When you were talking about how someone can create authority in their niche. And it's not just stopping with identifying their niche, it's also about they go ahead and become a master in it and package it in a way to the right audience, and the opportunities are plenty. And I can see a lot of audience again resonating with the thought process you're sharing with us. Now, continuing this part, I wanted to ask you this, Vinay, where can you share a few strategies that helped you grow visibility and credibility in your niche? Because you mentioned that it takes time, all right? So, what are some strategies using which you grew and visibility in your niche?
Choosing your platform, expressing yourself on that platform, and staying true and consistent on that platform. So this is the three-step strategy or way that I use to build visibility. So I choose my platform. So which is my platform, say for example, it is LinkedIn. Now on LinkedIn, I choose to write on my niche, which is customer centricity. I write about it. I share stories about it week after week, month after month. I run various series on customer centricity. Like recently, I ran 10 stories from India. There are not too many customer centric stories from India that are out. So I ran a series of 10 stories from India on customer centricity across different industries. Now, like that, it's been something which I've been doing for the last more than 2 years now, close to 3 years. Like I keep writing on customer. So I choose your platform and keep sharing quality content on your platform which reflects your expertise. That builds visibility, and be consistent on that. Be consistent. Builds you visibility. Be boringly consistent. Make it part of routine. Make it part of life. So that's the first step. Credibility is the next step of that. People should start trusting you. That's the next level of that. When people start consuming your content on that platform, then from short form content you move on to long form content, where they start consuming maybe your longer form content, or when they start attending your programs, or when they start listening to you speak on a platform. On that, visibility leads to credibility. Credibility leads to trials. So this is something that I'm bringing from my FMCG background. For FMCG background, for a
Mm.
marketing initiative, it's a very simple three-step process we follow: visibility, then credibility, then trials. So first, visibility by choosing your platform and expressing your niche in the way that you feel most comfortable with. You love shooting videos. You love expressing yourself through videos. Feel free to do that. You like writing content. You do that. You you know Whichever is your way of doing it, express it through that. Next, be consistent about it. Be consistent about it and engage with people in your community. That's the next huge step. Engage with uh, not just people who can hire you, but also people who are serving the people who can hire you. Connect with that. There is enough for everyone. The pie is big. Collaborate with people. Speak to people who are in the same industry as you. Please speak to people who speak on the same thing. Read their content. Engage with them. That's a next level of that. And then after that, of course, keep sharing about the work that you do. You deliver a keynote, share about it, talk about it, build it up. That's the next step of that. And then people start, they first notice you, then they consume you, and then after that becomes the business. So here, that's that three-step process that you follow in taking your niche and going to the market.
Wonderful. And Vinay, before I could ask the next question, I would also like to invite the audience who have tuned in to type in your questions, and Vinay would be happy to answer those questions. Um, I can see Sneha who has typed in, how does it feel to not having your niche? All right, that's a very tricky question according to me, but Vinay would answer it. I'll pass it on to him. Thank you, Sneha.
Okay, to be very honest, to me, it felt like I'm on a treadmill. I'm walking, but I'm not getting anywhere. I'm sweating, I'm getting tired, but I'm not getting anywhere. That's the feeling that I can resonate with not having my niche, because the moment I had clarity on my niche and then I translated that niche into my communication, I got off the treadmill. I started walking, and then I started running. And that for me was a very strong, very memorable inflection point.
Yeah, I can relate to the treadmill, puffing and panting and wondering when your speaking gig will come. And then, yeah, I can see Lester who has asked, in a niche where ideas naturally overlap frameworks, how does one consciously navigate the fine line between plagiarism and one's signature?
The way I see it, Lester, is that your niche. Let me take an example. Say leadership. Let's take now. There are thousands of speakers across the world on leadership. Okay, there are hundreds who might be around us, maybe in the same city, who speak, who consult, who do a lot of quality work on leadership. Now, does it mean that the thousand and first person who enters that zone cannot or should not take leadership? Definitely not. They should. But then they have to give their own unique signature around that. You got to create that unique aspect of leadership that you want to share. Now, how do you make that unique? I mean, there are lots of ways to do that. The one thing that I really believe strongly is uh, it's a three-pronged structure. Number one, either in leadership, I have a very strong backstory or I have something in my life, in my experience, where I showed leadership which was extraordinary. So, say someone from the defense force, someone with a background in defense, like Brigadier Sushil Basin. Now he comes with a rich experience of the military, of the defense forces. Now, when someone like him talks on leadership, now that's his niche. He's combining his military experience and bringing that uniqueness into leadership. That's one way of it. But for that, you need to have that something really, really strong, something really out of the world in your background that connects to that. So that's one way to do that. But not all of us might have that. So what do we do? Now, second, uh, build your own framework. Build your own framework, which is something very unique that comes from deep research, comes from deep understanding of leadership. That this is a framework on leadership. So this is the Vinay model of leadership. Now, in the Vinay model of leadership, this is what you do for this specific group of people. So, which means that I don't talk to CXOs, I don't talk to C-suite, I look at first-time managers. How can you take the first step in leadership? And I have a framework for that called the Vinay model. And this is how you do that. Then I build my entire brand around that. So wherever I go to deliver a keynote, wherever I go to deliver a session, I talk about that particular framework out there. This is the second way to differentiate your niche and create that. So I'm still answering Lester's question, that how do you, where do you bring that originality and you step away from possibility of plagiarism or whatever. So this is that way that you can create your own blue ocean. Like I just read Bharti's comment out there, which is so correct, that your blue ocean is very, very doable and very, very makeable. But you got to think beyond the broad pool. You got to think beyond what is that unique, what is that special, what is that that secret masala that those chefs put in those dishes that gives them that extra thing, the zing. So that's that thing that we got to pick around. It can be something in your story. It can be a framework that you're sharing, or it can be a unique way you are repurposing leadership. Show people that when people imagine leadership, this is a third way again. When people think about leadership, they think about leading them forward. Leadership. That's not the only way leadership can be done. Leadership can also be leading from the back. Very possible. So that's where you present your niche in a very, very unconventional, unusual way. Perspective, a completely your perspective. And perspectives can never be plagiarized. You just have to have conviction in the way you present that perspective to your audience. That will spark transformation. And that transformation will be your signature impact.
Wonderful. So, what stands out from whatever you shared, Vinay, is that no matter whatever is the niche which we are decoding, I think we need to pick up our uniqueness, and then it will make us way to get into the flow state, and then we will be in a position to create that visibility, credibility, and I would like to add one more word to it: profitability. Yeah, I came up suddenly with the model: VCP: visibility, credibility, profitability. So profitability comes in when we move on from step one and step two, as Vinay rightly said, and then the profitability comes into the picture. So, Vinay, now that we are almost in the midway of the talk, I wanted to check with you about this, because this is the this is one of the motivating factors which made me to enroll for PSAI. So, PSAI organizes conferences every year, and the last year's conference happened in Mumbai, and I have never been to Mumbai, and I took PS's conference as an opportunity and visited the city and attended the wonderful conference, and it was amazing. I'm sure you're responsible for the conference which is coming up in 2026. So, would you like to share a few words about PSS 2026 tonight?
Certainly, Jasmine. I'm, in these 7 years, there's only one convention that I've missed, which is the 2021. It literally took me a broken leg to miss a convention. So that's something which I would never miss, because there's so much value out there as a professional speaker when you attend a convention and you soak in the wisdom from so many leaders, so many leaders from the speaking world who come out there and share their wisdom for all of us to learn from, and bond with them and network with them. And that's so that every single convention, including the latest one that happened in Mumbai this year, and it's been transformational. So we have the next one coming up in 2026 in February in Chennai, and we are in the middle of designing an event which is going to be packed with value, loads of learning, and loads of exciting growth for every single delegate out there. So, yes, we are super excited. The theme for the event is synergy, where voices come together and spark transformation. That's what PSS 26 is all about. So, taking this opportunity and this moment, let me invite everybody who's out here, who's logged in, who's online, that come to Chennai, Feb 6, 7, 2026, and await a transformation. We look forward to hosting you in Chennai.
Yes, and I loved the theme synergy. What a beautiful theme for Professional Speakers Association of India and the conference which is coming up in 2026 Feb. And this time I will miss my opportunity of traveling because it's happening right here in Chennai where I'm based out of. But nevertheless, it's definitely a moment to cherish. And Vinay, when we were speaking about this visibility, credibility, I purposely added one more word to it, which is profitability. All right. So person identifies the niche, decodes it, finds out the sweet spot where they can create authority, and they are in the flow state. So when is that they can expect that they will get speaking gigs, which transforms their money quotient as well, which becomes profitable as well?
Like I said, the speaking niche, identifying your speaking niche is the first step of the journey. When we move forward in this journey further, and we start putting ourselves, we create an engine of growth. What do I mean by an engine of growth? Which means that uh, building my brand as a professional speaker, putting myself out there, connecting with the community, connecting with the right set of people, and selling my value proposition to the right audience. When these things come together, the speaking opportunity, you start attracting speaking opportunities. Now, how do you take it one step further? When you start first by building your credibility within your community. Does your community know what you speak on? Does your community know what you're really good at? What is your niche? If they don't know that, today is the right day to start. That's how I started, because I realized that even in 2021, that people in my own chapter, many of them didn't know what I spoke on. And that's a reality, because uh, it doesn't happen automatically. You got to go out there, you got to talk. First, start building your credibility within your own community, then the next level, then your ecosystem, then your potential clients, then your prospects, then then your right social media platforms. When you start marketing yourself with intention, with consistency, intention and consistency, it cannot be one or the other, it has to be both together. Intention and consistency, when you start putting yourself out there, that is when you start attracting opportunities, both for speaking and for multiple other products that you have in your product pyramid. So that's when the profitability starts kicking in. The having a niche is like having a specialization, and that is a huge boost for you as a business professional to command profitability, to not play the price game at all, to command profitability. You're an expert now, who's now being booked, who's now being hired to speak to an audience, to deliver tangible value. You're an expert, and you are commanding your fee, your price, your remuneration as an expert. And that is a big boost to your profitability.
Got it, Vinay, got it. Now, when you spoke about the profitability, it completely makes sense as to like what you mentioned in terms of it's cannot happen overnight. It has to have intention as well as consistency. That makes sense. Now, what are three actionable steps someone can take today to begin decoding or discovering their speaking niche? Because today, I'm sure, apart from PSAI members, we also have people who have tuned in who might be witnessing this PSAI talk show for the first time. So, what would be the three actionable steps someone can take today to discover their speaking niche?
Okay, a small little step which I do in my mastermind and my coaching program. Draw four circles out there. Circle number one, you put your expertise, which means what are the things that you are qualified to speak on. What I'm sharing right now is the first step to identifying your niche. Okay, everything else comes after that. So draw those four circles. The first circle is your expertise. What are you qualified to speak on? The second circle is your experience. What have you spent considerable time working on? What are the things that you have spent reasonably good time doing or experiencing it? That's your experience. The third circle is your passion. What are the things that give you pure joy? And this very simple, I would say, point to observe that would be that, if someone wakes you up at 3 a.m. in the night and asks you to speak on it, will you be able to speak on it? That's your passion shining through. What are the things that you're passionate about speaking? Now, you might be experienced to speak on 10 things, but you may be passionate to speak only on 3 out of those 10. You might have expertise on 5 things, but you might have experience only on 2. Passion might be only one of them. And then the fourth circle is your market. Which is that market? Is there a value proposition for your market from this? When you fill up all these four circles, your speaking niche will lie at the intersection point of these four circles. That's your first step to identifying your niche: expertise, experience, passion, and the market.
Okay. I can see Meher who has typed in exactly what you have mentioned as well: expertise, experience, passion, and market. Thank you so much. I think the audience are really, really relating to whatever you're mentioning in terms of three actionable steps. Now, one follow up question to that is: what mistakes should new speakers avoid when trying to establish themselves in a niche?
The first one is to try and speak on too many things. No, I would say that as early as possible, start working on identifying the niche. Do not spread yourself thin, because we all have, limited energy. We all have limited time to focus on, and if it's spread too thin, the impact will never be uh, commensurate to the efforts. So, folks, start working on identifying your niche. That's the first step. After that, be consistent. Be consistent. Put sufficient time. Devote time to that, and do not give up that niche without devoting time. Do not run behind a fad, because something might be very interesting. Like right now, today, a lot of people are talking about, say, a prompt engineering or context engineering, which is absolutely relevant. But does that fit in with your story? Does that resonate with you as a person? Your experience, your expertise, does that resonate with you? Or, oh wow, this is a very cool thing that everybody is talking about, should I really chase that? No, don't do that. If it resonates with you, it is something that you have expertise on, you have experience on, then by all means, please. But do not chase a fad and grab a fad and make it a niche because it's the thing that everybody is talking about. No, not sustainable. The fad might sustain, but you might not sustain that fad for long as something that you work, talk, write, and share about on a day in and day out basis. It doesn't work that way. So that is another thing that I would advise against. And the third thing that I would say is that once you have committed, then be consistent. Be consistent. Results in professional speaking, or for that matter, I can hardly think of a career where expertise or thought leadership is established overnight. No, it's not. It's not. Thought leadership is not virality. Thought leadership takes time. Thought leadership takes intention, and thought leadership takes consistency. Time, intention, consistency. That's when thought leadership is built. So please invest that time in and have that intention, and build in that boring consistency. Boringly consistent, day in and day out, day in and day out, and then the results start happening. So these are the three things that I will advise, because I wish I had done these three things 3 years back. I think I would have saved some more time.
I think, Vinay, you've been very kind to teach us all what you learned in the hard way. So, the three actionable steps is something which a speaker, aspiring speaker, should do rather than exploring all the topics, and then it will definitely help them to avoid mistakes. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead about the PSS 2026 video. I'm sure many audience will be interested to see a glimpse of what could happen there. So for the benefit of them, let's move on to our themed PSS 2026 conference video with the motive synergy.
One voice can spark an idea, but many voices united
So we would
create
get that
a
video
moment.
played very, very shortly. In the
We are
meantime, the
speakers,
audience can
we
also
are
put in their
storytellers,
questions
we are
which you would like to
change
ask Vinay,
makers.
because after
We
this,
stand on the
again,
power
we
of
will
our
continue
words,
talking with
but
Vinay
words alone
for a
don't
couple of
shape the
minutes or
future.
more. And
It is when voices come together, when knowledge is shared, that's when true transformation happens. We are a young association, bold, relentless, taking confident strides into the world of professional speaking. But we don't walk alone, we rise together. And what better place to experience synergy than a land where time itself has stood witness to it? Welcome to Chennai. This year we gather not just to speak, but to breathe, reflect and connect at a one-of-a-kind beachside retreat in Chennai. Set along the scenic East Coast Road, this beachfront venue blends elegance with energy. Walk barefoot on the sands. Let the sea breeze ignite your next big idea. Share the table with folks from all over the globe and indulge in a buffet that could range from Tair Sadam to biryani, angel hair pasta to zucchini salad, fried fish to grilled lobster, and coconut-drenched curries from coastal India. AI will shape our tools, but synergy will shape our destiny. Because while technology may keep throwing up the next big thing, humanity has always thrived on synergy. This is our moment. This is our stage. This is our synergy. Professional Speakers Summit 2026. Lock the date. Come join us. Be a part of the moment.
All right. So that was definitely motivating for people who would like not to just visit Chennai, but also definitely to attend PS's 2026 conference. What you would like to add on that, Vinay?
Just one little thing that we often don't say it enough is what I feel, that the Professional Speakers Summit is the only and the biggest, yes, only and the biggest dedicated convention for professional speakers in the country, in India. It's the only convention which is completely focused on professional speaking. I like what Bharti has said out here. It is the Mahakumbh of professional speakers. It is indeed. So it is an event which is crafted every year to build the professional speaking industry, the professional speaking community in India. So that's what makes it unique. That's what makes it special, and that's what makes it so close to the heart for so many of us who are creating this Mahakumbh of professional speaking in India.
Absolutely, yes. And for the benefit of audience who have tuned in, the link to register for the conference is put in YouTube and LinkedIn as well. So you can feel free to go ahead and explore that. Now, Vinay, we are almost towards the last 5 minutes of our show. I'm going to ask you some questions quickly, and you would give me the answer which comes into your mind, just pops in, and you would not think about it for a long time. Is
Wow.
that a fair deal?
Fair deal. Square. Go right ahead.
All right. Okay. So when people speak about Vinay as a speaker, how do you like to be remembered? When people speak about Vinay as a speaker, how would you like to be remembered?
A speaker with conviction. Conviction is the word. That's what I would say first. Conviction in what I'm speaking on. So that's the first thing that I would want my audience to remember.
Very nice.
This is supposed to be rapid fire, right? So I can't go
Yes.
beyond that.
Definitely. Okay. Another curious question. I know you're a short story writer. Of all the stories you wrote, which is your favorite short story? Maybe you can just say the title.
The 4 a.m. Mangalore Express. That's a story that is part of the book that I've co-authored with 5 other friends called Filter Coffee Chronicles. So there's a story in that called the 4 a.m. Mangalore Express. So that's a story that's something that I love. It's one of my favorite stories.
Very nice. I would definitely read it. I'll get it from you and read it. Okay. Now, I remember earlier when we were speaking, you mentioned that there are different modalities a speaker can use to create visibilities. It can be videos, it can be podcasts, it can be like, they can write or they can speak. So, which is your favorite modality?
I love writing. I love writing. So yes, I'm still terrified of shooting videos. So it takes me a long time to bring myself in front of the cam and shoot a video. So, but yes, thanks to one of the challenges that we had in PSAI recently, where we shot videos for 30 days in a month, I'm better. But then definitely nowhere near where I want to be. But writing is my number one way of expressing.
No wonder you are a short story writer. Okay, all right. Now we have an interesting question from Tanya. She asked, I think, how to engage with content. I had just as a flash.
Mm.
How to engage with content. That's what she asked.
How to engage through content. There
Yes.
are two ways that I'll tell you what I do on a regular basis. Is that I engage with every single person who comments on my content, which means every single uh, content. I make sure that within a few days I engage, and I try my best not to miss out on responding to every single comment. So that's my first step of engaging. The second step of engaging is that when I engage with my audience, I engage with my audience, or when I engage with my community, I always try to put in a comment that sparks a conversation, not a comment that is like, maybe commenting for better reach. And I somehow I've never gotten around to doing that, or maybe putting a I try my best not to put just a couple of words. As much as possible, I try to put in a comment that can spark a conversation or have 2 to 3 levels of depth into that. So these are two things that I try. I keep doing. I want to be more consistent with that. But these are two things that have really worked for me, because I've connected with some absolutely amazing people purely through comments and engagement, more than the content. So I hope that answers the question. Tanya asked the question,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
Tanya.
So
Yes,
yes.
yes.
So I hope that answers the question to some extent, Tanya.
Yeah, it answered definitely what I had in mind, because I remember whenever someone comments on my content in LinkedIn, I would just say thank you. But this insight which you've given me has helped me to understand that personalizing is better. Now, Richa's asking, can niche help you transition from a speaker to the speaker or the speaker?
Very interesting question. Very, very good question. Can a niche help you transition from a speaker to the speaker? I will say a niche is the first step to make that transition. A niche is not the only thing. You have to leverage your niche. Having a niche is step one. And I repeat, like what I said earlier, and identifying your niche is the first step. But leverage your niche can certainly enable your transition from a speaker to the speaker on your niche for your audience. Like I said, you know, you got to have a very clear idea about who you add value to as a speaker. Growth stage CXOs, entrepreneurs, solo entrepreneurs, or women professionals, working people, students, whatever your audience is. Having a niche helps you add value to them, and then you transform from, okay, he's a good speaker, she's a good speaker, to, oh, he's the speaker that we want for this event. That's that transition that we're talking about, and a niche sparks that.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Vinay, for sharing that. I reserved one rapid fire question, okay, towards here at this point. You were on the spotlight, but definitely I'm going to put you on the spot by asking this question. Ready?
Sure,
Okay.
go ahead.
So this is the first time I'm hosting a show where you are the speaker. Okay. So one word for your host today, please. That's why I said putting you on the spot.
No, spontaneous.
Right? Thank you very much,
Spontaneous.
Vinay.
And I think that's an amazing quality or a characteristic for a host to have, and to be spontaneous and to move seamlessly with the conversation. I think that's amazing.
Thank you very much, Vinay, for being so authentic. I really loved hosting this show, especially talking to you, because decoding the speaking niche is something which I was really, searching for a long time. And the universe spoke to me as well as a lot of aspiring speakers through you. Thank you so much for your presence here today. And sincere gratitude from the entire team for spending time and giving us all the valuable insights which you have learned in a lot of time with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jasmine. It's been an absolute pleasure and honor to be here on the first episode of season 5 of the PSAI Talk Show, and absolutely loved engaging with the questions as well. I hope I've been able to, we've been able to address as many questions as possible. Otherwise, please put it in the chat box. I will definitely go through it later and answer it. And just want to leave with one single line that when you pick your lane, you go on to own the highway. But you got to first pick your lane. Then you go on and you own the highway. Thank you, everybody.
Very nice. People remember usually what they heard towards the end for a longer time. I think you have given it on a very grand note. Thank you very much, Vinay. As Vinay rightly said, you can definitely catch hold of him to answer all your questions in the social media, as well as you can put it here. He will definitely get back to you with the answer. And we will meet you all in another PSAI Talk Show, episode 2. And a great shout out to all the people backstage who helped us conduct this show. Thank you very much for all the guests who tuned in, all the PSAI members who tuned in, and thank you for all the wonderful questions and comments which you kept coming in. So, thank you very much. We'll meet you all in another episode of PSAI Talk Show.